guys, and welcome to another episode of Rappler's food webinar series, Let's Talk Food. And we are on our third episode, and today we want to highlight Women's Month. So, March is Women's Month, and in honor of March, we wanted to host a special episode highlighting two Filipino female chefs who proudly represent the local culinary and restaurant industry in their own ways. So they've made, or rather, are continuing to make their distinct mark with the work that they do for their respective restaurants. So I'm happy to introduce our first guest. So that's Chef Nico Cala, French-trained executive chef of modern French restaurant Metronome and takeaway brand Lazy Oof. And then our second guest is Chef Queenie Villar, so founder of Southeast Asian concept Sambar and previous restaurants, your local Hey Handsome, among others. Yeah. So welcome and thank you for joining us today for a third episode. Hope you guys are okay.
Hi, we're good.
So I guess to start, I'm pretty sure a lot of people already know you and the work that you do, but could you tell us a bit about yourself, like what you currently do, and what are your current restaurant and culinary projects at the moment?
Right now, I'm Miko. Right now I am at the helm of Metronome, which is a modern French restaurant. As of today, we're actually closed because dining in is not allowed. But we're still continuing to operate through Lazy F, which is our takeaway brand. Lazy F is what we're concentrating on for the next 2 weeks since we can't operate Metronome. Yeah, so that's it.
Okay. And Chef Queenie?
Hi. So right now I'm doing sambar. We're doing it in Nico's apartment. Basically, it's a delivery system of Asian food. There's no specific, I guess, country in Asia. I think what we're bringing in is what we miss the most in Asia. I think that's what we're trying to achieve as of the moment. And then so far, I mean, we're building something with Grab. It's a homegrown concept. And it's called PK Chicken Club. Hopefully, it's gonna be, open in April. But let's see. I mean, this lockdown, we don't know what's gonna happen. So hopefully, we're targeting that month.
Prior to this, could you, I guess, take us through a timeline of your culinary education or career?
So, when I started, in college I took up hotel and restaurant management in Saint Scholastica's College, and then after that I worked in the Philippines. I did my first ever job was this small restaurant in Greenbelt, early 2000s. So it was it's not operating anymore. And then after that, after like I think 1 or 2 years, I moved to Hyatt Hotel and Casino, which is now I think another hotel. I think it's New World now. I'm not sure, but it was the one located in MH Del Pilar. Anyway, I was a commie there. So I was part of the pre-opening team and I helped open the banquet kitchens, and that was really my first introduction to a very professional kind of kitchen as well. So after that, after a few years, I took my further studies. I moved to Paris to study in École Grégoire Ferrandi. I did like an intensive course for classic French culinary. And then I did my stage, like an internship with Joël Robuchon, La Table de Joël Robuchon. And then after that, I just continued on with my career with Joël Robuchon, but like I moved to from Paris, I moved to London, and then from London, I moved to Singapore to join the pre-opening team of L'Atelier Joël Robuchon in Singapore.
Okay.
Yeah, and then after that, after a few years, I moved back to Manila and did private dinners for a while, and then I found partners who were eager to support my idea and the concept of metronome, and yeah, they supported the idea, and then we opened metronome together.
Oh, what year was that? Metronomes
That
open.
was metronome was open. We opened metronome in 2019.
Okay, all right. So prior to that, you were just doing private dinners. Well, yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't really um a big thing. I was just doing it for people I knew, or
Mm-mm.
my friends who recommended other people and asked if I could do dinners for them. But and sorry, we also with my cousin we also did underground supper club for a while. So it was like a pop up. We would pop up in like cafes. We did one in a pub and things like that. So I would do like a 6 to 7 course modern French type of food for like one night,
Right.
and yeah, we'd sell the seats and that's it.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So you, Chef Queenie, what did you used to do before
Oh
Sambar?
God. So CSB, I studied in CSB, and then actually dun ko fully nalaman na gusto ko pala magluto. Sorry, parang
Actually, me
pinili ko.
also
Right.
because of hotel and restaurant management. That was the only time that I really thought like, yeah, I can make a career out of this.
Totoo. Parang hobby lang siya. And then I really didn't, hindi sa totoo, I really didn't know what to do. Like sabi ko, oh my God, ano bang iti-take ko sa life ko? And then, so, sabi ko, yung mga friends ko, di ba magaling, nag-hobby mo na magluto? Okay, sige, I'll take the challenge and then do a cooking class. And then yun, and then super na-enjoy ko. And then parang every day, sobrang excited ako to cook. Parang, the chopping and all. Parang sobrang, it's making you alive. I think yun yung pinaka gusto ko. And then after that, I went to the States to do my internship there. Quite hard. I mean, like, me being out there and then trying to figure out kung ito ba yung gusto kong magawa. Pero yeah, I think I went back home kasi I didn't feel na parang hindi ko magawa yung purpose ko in culinary there. Parang it's repetitive lang. Parang I'm looking for more flavors. So I went back home and then I think my friend texted me like a batchmate of mine. Sabi ko, oh, may opening sa your local. Why don't you join? Sabi ko, oh, anong cuisine? The agent. Sabi ko, okay. Something different. Kasi sabi ko, never really tackled Asian except Filipino, right? Or except in school. And then sabi ko, sige, let's give it a try. And then I tried, I guess, and then super na-enjoy ko. I think I enjoyed like the experimenting well dun sa your local. And then, now like R&D partner to Nico. And then, I don't know, I think I was so happy in cooking in your local talaga na parang everyone enjoyed as well. And I guess the whole team succeeded and wanted to do more. And then the team decided to open Hey Handsome. Okay, so I was the one handling Hey Handsome also. No, but at that time, I'm the one handling Hey Handsome already. So it was fun. I think yun yung nag-open sa side ko na to be more aggressive in teaching people food. I think, yeah, yun yung parang maybe yung breaking point na, sige, let's teach everybody about food. Kung anong flavors out there. And so nice kasi, the team we have, Nico, like sila Jenny and all, they were so, parang, everybody has one goal. So, nakaka-drive to do it more. But sadly, we had to let go of Hey Handsome because of the lease problem. I mean, it expired already yung lease contract namin. So, it's okay. And then we joined Elephant Grounds as a, I guess, how would you say, as a consultant, hindi eh. Parang we joined it, the team really as an R&D manager. I'm the R&D manager in Standard. And then we did the menu of Elephant Grounds, even though it has, what do you call that, a franchise sa ibang bansa. But here in Manila, parang we found, parang, I think the menu in Elephant Grounds, Hong Kong, in other country, it's not gonna work. So what will work in the Filipino market? So we did their menu, and then because of the pandemic, I think it's safer. We decided it's safer if we have our own na lang. And it can be parang ma-protect yung family namin. Kasi parang it's so hard to go and interact with other people kung may senior ka sa bahay. And actually, doon nabuo talaga yung Sambar. Parang, what can we do in this era, in this pandemic era? Parang how can we develop our skills more? And how can we survive? I mean, actually, doon nabuo yung Sambar. So that's why we're doing Sambar now. And hopefully, in a few months, yun nga, yung TK Chicken Club, mabubuo din.
Okay, great. So at least, I mean, it's your careers are still, well, pushing through despite
Yeah.
the circumstances.
Trying.
So I guess I want to ask, like, was it something that you've always wanted? As you mentioned, you only realized, I guess, in college or that you, Chef Nico, that you wanted to pursue this as a career, right?
Yeah, as a career, because I had no idea at that time. You know, this was early 2000s,
Yeah.
and it wasn't glamorous, or it wasn't a cool thing to do just yet.
Yes.
Because there were no, I mean, it's not as popular as it is now with all the TV shows and all the celebrity chefs and stuff like that. So when it started, yeah, my family, like, we're really food obsessed. And I grew up eating. Like, we go to restaurants, and I grew up with my tita, where, like, she was the one who really kind of introduced me to a lot of, like, more sophisticated flavors, to kind of, like, train my palate and, like, make it a little bit more diverse, kumbaga. So the thing with me is, I was always surrounded by my family who love to cook and who love to eat, and but it being a career, it was kind of almost like a divine intervention type of thing, where, you know, I got into that to that school, and then I just found out that there was hotel and restaurant management, and I was like, yeah,
Why not?
okay, whatever. But then when the first cooking class that I had, that was the time when I said, you know what? I think I don't think I want to do anything else but this. And I kind of, like, realized that it can be a career. And then when I realized that it can be a career and it's a career that I want to pursue, I laid down the groundwork for me to kind of, like, really know where I want to take the career, my career, the trajectory of my career. So in college pa lang, when I did my OJT, I went to the Tivoli, which was the fine dining restaurant of Mandarin, because I knew that was the kind of direction that I wanted to pursue. Like, I wanted to do more classic French technique, because I was obsessed with the way they made sauces and the technicality of everything. So I started with that. And then when it was time, when I had a chance to kind of, like, when my family told me like, okay, you can look for school abroad and you know pursue like take further studies, I made
Really
sure that I
supported.
went to yeah
Yeah.
yeah I did my research and yeah and I went to that school and that school kind of Ferrandi actually opened the door for
Yeah.
me to get into Joel Robuchon. And when I got into Joel Robuchon, like before I did my training in Joel Robuchon, I actually ate in one of his restaurants when I was in London. And I was with my cousin. I told my cousin, I was like, okay, I'm gonna work here.
Your food
So
inspired you, I
yeah,
guess.
so I was like, I actually like, I'm gonna work here. I'm gonna like with the, I with a bleep work here. um, yeah, and then I went back to Paris to study, and then a year later, uh, I got a job in atelier in London, and then yeah,
The rest was history, I guess.
history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grabe, ganda ng history ni Chef. Like, oh my God.
So
Yeah.
I guess it's safe
Yeah.
to say that your family played a big part in
Oh
inspiring.
yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely, definitely. It wasn't. It was until now they still play a big part in like where I am today. One of my business partners is actually my first cousin
Okay.
who knew like from the start what the concept of metronome and what I wanted to do. He was even the one who put together like the branding and the logo and all that and
Nice.
doing the like the finances and stuff like that. That's all him. I'm just like, this is what I want to do. I want to cook
I just
this,
want to
and
cook.
this is how I want the restaurant to look like. I need your help.
Traditional.
You
Yeah.
know.
Was it
So
the same then for you, Queenie? Like what
Oh
or
my
who
God.
inspired you to start
Actually,
cooking?
no, my family has been, parang yung mother ko and yung lola ko, they had a few restaurants na before. I mean, not fancy restaurants, like diners. I mean, marami na sila experiment. Like, we had a few catering business. Pero when I was young, parang hindi ko siya napapansin. Parang I'm just there to eat. Alam mo yun, nothing great really. But I think more of yung lola, the mother of my dad. I think yun yung love language niya sa amin. I mean, of course, when I was younger, of course, yung way, way young, yung nag-aalaga sa amin is my lola. Sa daddy side. Aside from, the helper and all, parang siya yung laging nagbibigay ng food. I mean, like, she loves cooking Filipino food. Like, she doesn't know how to cook anything else but Filipino food. Like, sabi ko siya, like, sobrang galing. And then, parang ako, oh, masarap na si Lola magluto ah. And then, parang wala, sinasama niya ako sa konting chop ng garlic, konting chop ng onions. Back then, akala ko, ay nako, wala lang si Lola, I mean, help. So, kaya pinapa-help niya ako. But, I think, doon nag-start na parang nag-start yung, ko sa food. But hindi, at that point, wala siya, parang subconsciously, hindi talaga siya parang pumapasok sa mind and heart ko. I think from the start, I wanted to be a vet. Kasi sobrang parang pet lover yung family namin. Parang I was so focused on that. We had so much dogs. Like now we have 9 dogs. We have, a birds at the house. Pero sobrang focused kami sa pets na hindi ko na-notice yun. And then I realized, I mean, can I really the career path as a vet, parang can I really do this? Parang I'm not sure also if I really wanted. And then there was a question There was a question in high school, in fourth year high school. What do you want to be? I think yun yung trigger point ng gusto ko gawin. And then there had choices. May mga choices yun. And then, yung nabasa ko lang is food and service. Aside from all the kind like agriculture, parang I guess yun lang yung na-bring up ng heart ko. And then so I tried it. And after the first session, parang I didn't want to do anything else. I think I mean, to be honest with myself, hindi siya yung kay Chef, ang ganda ng history. Sorry, sobrang
Yeah,
ganda ng
actually,
history.
it was also
Oh my
that.
God.
Yeah.
Diba? Pero yung sa akin, parang sobrang simple question lang na parang,
Yeah.
what do I, like, okay. And then after shopping, parang yung mga friends ko, after mag-cook assignment lang, like, this is it, homework lang. Pero ako parang, hindi, sige, mauna na kayo. I'll stay in class. Gusto ko pang magluto. Like, I wanna help my teacher cook pa. Parang, gusto ko lutuan yung mga, what you call that, yung mga janitor dun sa school. I mean, gusto ko matuto magbenta. Parang, yun yung, yun yung nag-push sa akin. Parang hanggang yung interest ko na parang, everyday learning. Parang, okay, I want to do this. Doon talaga na parang, oh my God, gusto ko talaga gawin to. Yun.
So from then, I guess the restaurant or the culinary industry was, I guess, very different from when you started.
Mm-hmm.
And is it comparable to how it is now? Like, how do they compare the past and now?
Oh, I feel like the younger cooks now have more exposure locally and opportunity. Like, well, I don't know about opportunity because it's still a very small food scene, but there are definitely more restaurants and more chefs to look up to and I think the younger cooks now know that it can be a career, that it's not, you don't just have to end up like seeing it as a job, because like for me there's a difference between it being a job and it being a career.
Mm-hmm.
And even as a cook, you also have to kind of see where you want your career to go, because it's completely different. Like my food philosophy and the way I cook is completely different from Queenie. It doesn't mean that it's better or worse or whatever. It's just completely different. And that's what makes it exciting now in the Philippines, because you have so many different areas to kind of look into and investigate and see where you want or how you want to cook, how you want to express yourself in this kind of creativity. So I feel like that's something that's better now, because when I was starting out, it was just really, if you want to learn, you mostly go to hotels.
Right.
Mm.
And then you learn from their kitchens. Then it depends where you get assigned to. If you get assigned in banquet or the Chinese side or I don't know, pastry or something. Yeah, and then but now there's a lot more. There are a lot more chef-driven restaurants.
Right.
So the younger cooks can see where and how they can develop themselves.
Yes.
Oh, I agree. I agree with Chef. Parang when I was starting, I think, kaya hindi ako ganun ka, hindi ganun ka-open yung mind ko before. When I was starting, when high school and college was, parang the Filipinos are not that open with any other flavors. Parang I had to go out the Philippines to be able to open my mind. And when I came back, parang super nakita ko yung change from being, alam mo yun, parang the diner scene, all American, diba, brands there before. And then now, parang sobrang dami, ang galing, parang we can actually here in Manila, parang we can taste all the cuisines already. Kaya, yes, and then I agree with Chef also. Parang when it was starting, parang hotels, parang people would want to work in hotels more because parang they're more credible. But now, parang actually, mas gusto mong mag-work sa restaurant kasi parang may mas growth. I mean, I wouldn't want to the hotels. Pero parang mas forward-driven. Alam mo yun, cuisine-wise, parang you can experiment more. Parang mas matututo ka more. para fast pace. So I think, yeah, I mean, sobrang from being closed-minded flavors that we have. I mean, after a few years, sobrang galing na parang all the flavor profiles are here in Manila already.
Yeah.
So parang
Yeah.
I think mas yung mga tao also mas foodie na ngayon. Kasi educated na eh, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Parang wala na open yung minds natin. Everyone loves to eat now. 'Di ba?
Yeah.
Parang that's why yung food industry is booming even though may pandemic and all. Kasi parang everyone wants to try something already.
Yeah.
Parang hindi na tayo hindi na tayo
Very
close-minded.
close-minded.
Bigger platform. There's a bigger platform also, and even with the way it's, yeah, I agree. Like the flavors, it's so diverse na here. Also cooking methods. It's not only like, you know, it's not like before that the Western standard of cooking is the only thing that's like the gold standard. Right now, we know that there's, we have, like as Filipinos, we have our own cooking practices that can be brought to light and be brought into like a more commercial type of restaurants, and you have places like Toyo or Hapag or Metis who do a lot of fermentations and a lot of curing and all that, which is very Filipino in a way, where especially when you go to the coastal provinces or down south, there's a lot of fermentation going on, and there's curing. You have the salt cured stuff and a lot of fermented or like up north you have the burros and everything.
Yeah.
These things are these are more Asian in a way, and these are being celebrated already.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one thing. Queenie is correct when she said like there's a lot more diversity, which is inspiring.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess, I mean, it took some time for you guys to get where you are now, having your own restaurants, being able to be, fully creative and all that. So, what were the initial challenges you had to overcome starting off your career? And I guess what kept you going despite these challenges? Because I'm sure you encountered your fair share.
For me, when I started, the one of the biggest obstacles really was harassment.
Oh.
It was that. It
Oh
was
my God.
yeah, it's
In the kitchen or just
yeah. It's not even like it's not super aggressive, or it's not
like it's subtle.
it's not aggressive or yung super pambabastos, or it's the subtlety of it. It's the fact that you're a woman and you're in the kitchen, and questions like kaya mo ba kasi babae ka, or things like that, or parang like, oh, sa itsura mong yan dapat hindi ka na sa kusina, things like that, and you're just like,
Yeah.
okay, and but that also drove me to get to where I am today.
Yes.
To kind of like to prove it, not even to other people, but to prove it to myself that being a woman
Isn't that a strength?
it's not a point against me. I can do
you can do.
I can do whatever I feel like doing. I mean, it's still at the end of the day, it's my choice, and it's a career choice that I made, and I'm gonna make sure that I do it well and I do it right.
So did you feel like you had to work twice as hard as your male colleagues just to achieve status, or did it really affect you this
No, it didn't it's not that I had to work twice as hard, but I had to tell myself that I had to speak up.
Mm-hmm.
I had to remind myself that, if I want something, I have to speak up. And if um, they say I can't do it because I'm a woman, then I'll just prove them wrong. It's not that I needed to work twice as hard, but it's more of building the confidence in myself and knowing that, I can do certain things and I can do it. And also it motivated me to make sure that I was good at what I did, so that being a woman wasn't an issue. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yes.
But it's difficult, but I don't know. Also kasi in the Philippines, I feel like opportunities are not held back for us as women.
Right.
Because we grow up going to school and being educated, and it's more of uh for me, it's more of like one of those gender roles that's the issue. Like, you know, hindi ka pwede dyan kasi masyado mainit dyan, babae ka pa naman, or things like that.
Mhm.
It's not it's there's it, you don't get stopped from entering different careers, but there's always going to be like this thing na kaya mo ba kasi babae
Yeah.
ka. You know what I mean? So it's more of that.
Right.
But I feel like it's not, opportunities are still there. It's just we just need
The
like
side
we
comments.
just need to make sure that as Filipino women, we take up the space. I always say that, take up the space that we deserve.
Right.
It's just that, yeah.
True. How about you, Chef?
I think being young and a woman, yun yung start. Yung pagdating ko sa Philippines, so I tried the hotel way first kasi that's what I've advised. And then, so, okay na. Naka, na ako, I'm there. Then, 3 months akong hindi binayaran. And I was working every day na walang day off. Una sabi ko, normal ba to? Baka normal lang. Baka normal lang talaga. Sabi ko, so nagtanong-tanong ako. Sabi ko, okay lang ba to? Siguro yung first month, sabi ko, ay hindi, kasi siguro ko pa lang, kaka-graduate ko pa lang. Baka, alam mo yun, hindi pa ako siniseryoso, or sa ano, no?
Yeah.
So, I'm so happy, good thing nasa daddy ko pa ako. So, alam mo yun, support ako. Pero, yung parang after a while, sabi ko, bakit gano'n? Bakit parang ako lang yung walang bayad. Hindi naman ako intern. May contract ako, hindi ako intern. So, kinausap ko yung supervisor ko. I mean, I didn't wanna speak yet as much kasi feel ko nga, baka normal. Yung ba sabi, hindi, kasi I think bata ka pa kasi anong tawag doon. Baka akala nila assistant ka pa lang. Kaya siguro ganyan. Sabi ko, ganun ba yun? Try ko kausapin yung higher, yung regular dun sa hotel. Okay, sabi ko, okay, sige po, thank you. So, ayun. And then, kinausap ako, sabi na hindi, next month, magkaka-salary ka na. Anong tawag doon? Okay, thank you. So, I was expecting, yun nga, may salary na. And then, lagi akong inuutusan. Like, I'm so happy to, pero habang may ginagawa ko, next na ulit ako. And then, I was expecting naman sa culinary na parang alam yun, 16 hours ka nasa kusina. That's fine, di ba? Okay lang yun. I mean, no complaints. Game ako kasi I like what I do. But, I think parang yung everyday, tapos wala akong day off for 3 months. Parang sabi ko, tapos walang bayad. Sabi ko, iba na ata to. Sabi ko, baka na. And then, parang napapansin na rin nung dati ko. Sabi niya, parang wala kang check. Wala kang ipon, wala kang money. Sabi ko, dahil kasi wala pa akong magbayad. Sabi niya, tinanong mo ba bakit? Sabi ko, tinanong ko. And then, ayun nga, finally, yung parang sabi ko, kinusap ko yung superior ko, sabi ko, I think kailangan ko na umalis kasi I think unfair na yung nangyayari. Anong tawag doon? Sabi niya hindi, kasi ginagawan lang namin ng way para magkaroon ka ng payment, ng salary. Yun yung sa akin lagi sinasabi. Sabi ko, okay, I mean, ano ho ba yung reason kung bakit gano'n? Bakit ho ba nangyayari? Tapos sabi ko, kasi kaka-gadget mo pa lang. Yun yung talagang sinabi sa akin. Kaka-gadget mo pa lang. I think yung pinaka-best na share mo sa team is parang helper, alam mo yun, magiging help lang sa amin. Sabi ko, okay. I mean, I think,
Favor.
parang sabi ko, oh my God. Sabi ko nga, sana nag-dishwasher na lang po ako. At that moment, pero yun, yun yung nag-trigger na parang, ganun, pag nag-graduate ba, ganun lang pala. Parang sabi ko, I mean, pero may contract naman ako. I mean, I think, I was doing more. I mean, hindi ako yung nag-wine or anything, pero I think yun yung excuse sa akin na parang graduate ko pa lang. Maybe hindi naman maganda. So parang ako na tumatak yun sa utak ko. Like, paano yun? I mean, hindi ko ina-ask yung salaries ng iba kong kasama na young ones. Pero I guess parang feel ko na parang
How did it
same
make
sa
you
amin lahat.
feel?
Oo, sorry?
Like, how did it make you feel when you found out and heard that from your superior?
Parang ano lang, hindi, shock lang ako. Kasi sabi ko, parang, maybe, hindi naman ata tama na parang walang day off, tapos walang payment, and then, yun yung reason saan. Siguro may intindihan ko kung I'm not doing my job well.
Yeah.
I think if I'm not doing my job well, kung walang pera yung company, okay, kung walang contract na binigay, I think, pero yun yung reason sana parang kaka-graduate ko pa lang. Medyo, I think, na-down lang ako ng konti. Sabi ko, I mean, pinaghirapan ko naman and tinry ko talaga improve na alam mo yun, I think worth the salary naman ako. Pero hindi ko na finite kasi pag naisip ko, lahat ng tao na nandito, dinaanan yun. Parang naawa lang ako kasi sobrang ang galing nila eh. Alam mo yun, like, tapos ang tagal nila maging regular. Ang galing ng mga tao, way beyond me. Pero narinig ko sila mag-complain. Hanggang ngayon, 7 years na ako dito, hindi pa ako regular. Sabi ko, oh no. I think maybe baka normal lang to sa kanila or dito sa establishment na to. So, parang umalis na nga. I think yun yung, I guess, aside from that, siguro yun yung initial hardship na na-feel ko nung nagsistart ako. And then, I think yung second na hardship na na-feel ko is, I think on myself na if I want to be a leader or not. If I want to be a normal cook or a progressive cook na, you know, who wants to have their own someday. I think yun yung naging second na struggle sa sarili ko. Parang sabi ko, I've always been the person na parang wouldn't settle eh. Na parang na okay na. Parang I wanna push forward all the time. I think yun lang. More on struggle sa sarili na do I want to be a team player or do you want to have my own and be one of the leaders who would, you know, lead the team. I think yun yung second na struggle ko sa sarili ko as a person.
What made you decide, like, between those two? When did you decide you wanted to be that chef?
A leader? Oh my God. I think yung Nico had a talk with me. So, yung nagsastart kami sa Relongal, everyone was so close. You know, we were drinking every day. You know, we were working hard, but we were playing hard. Parang, I guess yun yung term. And then, he talked to me. Okay ka na, you can talk to everybody. Napapasunod mo sila and all. Pero, I mean, as a aspirational leader, you think susunod sila sa'yo kung may serious kang sasabihin sa kanila? No, parang ako, oh my goodness. Parang hit me hard na parang, oh no, tama. I think yun yung point na parang sabi, okay, I think I wanna be, you know, a serious leader who wants to, you have their own, who wants to build something, who wants to create their own team in the future. So, ayun yung I think yun na pinagalitan ako ng mentor ko to be serious. Sabi ko, okay ba?
Yeah,
Okay.
I went through that also with my last mentor, where I was third in command. I was junior sous chef. But there were a lot of boys under me, and when I would like tell them what to do or do this, I'd be like, hey, can you please blah blah blah, or can you do this when and it wasn't being followed to the T. And then my chef, that time, I remember this. He pulled me aside, kind of like pulled me by the jacket, pulled me aside in the show kitchen of Atelier, pulled me aside and said, "You know what the problem with you is? You're too nice. You have to remember that you are not their mother. You don't have to baby anyone. You tell them what to do, and you make sure that you know what you're doing, and you make sure that you tell them what to do, and they follow it to the T. Because if they mess up, it's on you, not on them." So I was like, so that at that point, I had to make a choice between being liked
Right.
and being a leader. So for me to be effective, I shouldn't care if they liked me or they would hang out with me after work.
Mm-mm.
But at the same time, I need to make sure that they're doing everything that needs to be done correctly. And when they come to me with questions, or if something happens with what they're doing, I can step in and troubleshoot for them.
Right. Yeah.
So that was the point wherein I had to become a chef, their chef,
Right.
not their friend.
Mm-mm.
That
Different
kind of
was
thing.
made.
Yeah.
And I guess in your journeys, was there a point where you felt close to giving up, or you felt like this wasn't for me? How did you get through that? I'm sure that was a turning point.
Well, for me, the reason why I came home was because it was a total burnout. I got sick. I got sick to a point where I had hypertension. My blood pressure was super high. I had to take the same medicine my dad was taking, and my dad was senior.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I had like a hormonal imbalance due to stress. So this was in Singapore, and then the doctor actually told me, like, you need to rethink your career, because if you continue doing this, I wouldn't be surprised if you have a stroke in the kitchen. It was that bad. So yeah, so that was a turning point for me, where I said, like, I need to at least leave Joel Robuchon, like that kitchen.
Yeah.
And that kind of, because it was cutthroat. Like at that point, when I left, we were working for Michelin stars in Singapore.
Yeah.
And that's so difficult. Like the standards are like, it's almost impossible. Like you're walking on eggshells all the time, because you don't know if there's an inspector there. So you have to be 100% on point every day for, like, I think a whole year, because we didn't know. There were only like, the inspectors might come between this month and this month. So it's
You don't know who
that.
they are when you're serving.
Yeah. Well, we like, if you're in the industry for a long time, and these are like, my chefs and like the restaurant managers who are French and who have been around other Joel Robuchon restaurants around the world, they kind of have an idea But it's not like they'll show you, oh, Mr. Whatever or Miss Whatever is gonna inspect. You don't know it. That was, I think, a big turning point for me, wherein I had to kind of really think about it. But then for me, it was no question. What I did was, okay, I'm gonna leave. I was actually at that point, I was waiting for another promotion, but I said, I I can't if it's my health already. I have
Yeah.
to stop. So I left. It was super abrupt. After the doctor told me what was wrong, 2 weeks later, I was out of Singapore. I came home. I wasn't working for like a year. So it was really that. I
So
had
took a
to
break.
really take care of myself. I had to take a break. I had to, do something else and take care of my health.
Yeah.
So yeah. So but that was one of those things where that was a turning point, and that kind of also made my belief in myself and what I really wanted to do stronger, because I knew that with even with the fact that I was faced with like a serious health issue because of my job or because of my career choice, I'm still not going to give it up. Of course, I have to change my lifestyle. I don't drink every night and smoke a pack a day anymore. And, I have to sleep also, not like, drink, party, and go straight to work the next day. Can't do that anymore. But, you know, I can give that up, but I'm not going to give this up.
Yeah.
So that was,
That was
yeah.
totally great for you.
Hmm.
Oh my God. Sad. I think yun din, yung nasa States, it's not because of burnout. I wanted to create more. I think where I was in the States, yung saan ako nagtututo ng culinary and starting my career. Parang I think hindi siya ganun ka-inspiring for me. So maybe I thought, I mean, is this really the industry lang? Parang, or maybe baka nga kasi mali ako kung saan ako pumunta. So, I went home and then, yun, I decided to come home kasi maybe there are better opportunities for me here in Manila. And maybe baka yung cuisine na gusto ko is more flavor forward and more technique forward. I guess parang nasa stuck lang ako noon sa knowledge. I think yun yung one point. I didn't give up, pero I think I wanted more. Yun yung, parang yun yung talaga yung gusto ko. Parang I think I want my growth more. I think I want to learn more. Like, where do I position myself in learning more? And then growing as a culinary baby, di ba? As a um, young cook. So yun, when I went back home, and then yun yeah, dun na-open yung eyes ko na, yeah, the Philippines is ready to do more. So I think dun ako na-encourage to stay here and feel ko na parang yung Philippines maraming pang I mean, in terms of culinary. Siguro second was when I decided to be a leader. We had this moment in your local na parang pinomote nila ako na high, ano pa, again, head sa buong kusina. And then, pero when I started kasi, someone was, may two na ahead of me. Pero parang maybe after a year and after a two, because of hard work definitely, and everyone saw that naman talaga, the whole team, I surpassed them. And then parang, I guess, syempre, alam mo yun, them also, nasaktan sila kasi parang, bakit I was on top and then they know naman that I was really working hard and all. Pero, ano yun, parang someone surpassed them. And then parang, yung buong, kasi ano yun, parang alam mo yun, nagkaroon ng bagong leader. Syempre, of course, may bagong leader, may bagong way of doing things. I mean, I had to impose that I think this is much better kasi, I mean, for the past few years, I think this is not working for us. And because of me being what do you call that, aggressive on doing better not, of course nagkaroon ng miscommunication sa kusina, and then alam mo yun, sobrang nasiraan ako. I think in all naman nangyari to, di ba? Everyone went through with this. Pero I think 2 weeks yun na parang everyday umiiyak ako. Kasi sabi ko, Lord, grabe. Sobrang ang sama nung, kasi papasok ka sa kusina, tapos alam mong pag-uusapan ka. Di ba? Papasok ka sa, anong tawag doon, and ginagawa mo lang yung best mo, gusto mo lang what's best for everybody, pero pahihirapan ka. And friends kayo before, di ba? So parang ako, I mean, iniisip ko, mag-resign na lang ba ako? Kasi, I mean, baka naman, I mean, ayokong tumapak eh. Kasi, syempre, they're older than me. Ayokong tumapak on somebody. 2 weeks yun, umiyak ako. Like, just, sabi ko, Dad, natulungan mo naman ako. Kailangan ko mas maging matatag than this. Kasi, anong tawag doon? Pero, promise sa workplace, backstab is sobrang hard, ah. Ang hirap. Siyempre, lalo na sa cooking, kasi hindi ka makapagluto, hindi ka magkapag-produce ng something na masarap. Kapag alam mo sa loob mo na naiinis ka, and magkatabi lang kayo, di ba? Parang gano'n. So parang ako, pero you know what, sabi ko, hindi, kaya ko to. Parang this is really what I want. Gusto ko magluto. Gusto ko to lead everybody, in victory. Gusto ko to have more kitchens. Gusto ko to have more teams. Sabi ko, hindi, push. Parang this is something lang na I have to, parang ayusin sa sarili ko. Kung kaya ko ba, ano yun, kung tatatagan ko lang yung loob ko and I can push through. I think, naalala ko yun eh, ang sakit yun. Hanggang ngayon, parang paminsan nasa isip ko pa rin na parang, nagka-scar siya. Kasi, yeah, yung friend mo dati, nag-turn kayo into, alam mo yun, maybe something petty for others. Pero if you're there in that moment, mas sakit eh, tapos nagluluto ka. So, yeah, parang, natanong ko sa sarili ko kung magkukwit ba ako sa your local noon and all. Pero hindi. Sabi ko hindi. Kaya namin to. Masarap yung pinuproduce namin. I mean, everybody's working hard. Kaya ko to. Parang ganun lang yun. Ma-overcome ko din and magkakayos din kami. So, yun.
Okay.
Think, naman maayos.
I guess from there, since those struggles, how do you guys feel like you've grown as chefs? Like, what qualities did you find in yourselves during your journey that you believe helped you succeed in your respective careers?
When it comes to growth, I feel like right now after opening my own restaurant, I've learned a lot from my business partners because luckily with my business partners, they have such expertise and experience in the industry already, which are not in the kitchen. So I learned a lot from them when it comes to business, when it comes to reading the market, when it comes to even price points and all that, and where to position yourself and the kind of brand that you want to create. That for me, I'm starting to understand now. Also, as a chef, I think I have learned to kind of eliminate a lot of noise and kind of be true to what I really want to do. Because there was a time that I was doubting myself when I started. I was doubting myself and what I was making. Because to tell you honestly, if you look at the menu of Metronome, it's really not. It's not what the local trend is interested in. I feel because it's leaning more towards the classic French technique when it comes to cooking. I use a lot of very refined sauces, and even the way I cook things or I make things is very kind of it's very very French in a way. Well, it is like all the techniques the foundation is very French. And I knew for a fact that wasn't, in 2019, that wasn't what people were looking at. I was sticking out like a sore thumb from everyone else who were doing amazing things with local flavors and local produce and cooking local and bringing up the Filipino food, and like also utilizing more Asian flavors and all that. And I had to kind of like really internalize and say and think about my identity as a chef, and as a chef who is very Filipino in her DNA. So I had to kind of really look into that and see how harmonious I can make that as possible without selling out. Not selling out. It's more of like without stepping away from what I really want to do. So because that was more of like a struggle that I had with me like within me, which I think for us as um, if you do something creative, you will always have doubt because it's something that it's you. You're presenting, you're putting yourself out there. But like with us, it's through food, it's through cooking. So I really had to kind of really take a step back and think about it and know what I really wanted to do, and I stuck to my guns when it came to that.
Okay.
It was a challenge as well. Yeah.
And you, chef?
Yung sa, I forgot to say na parang one struggle also that I encountered na sobrang sakit was, closing Hey Hands Up. That is something na parang grabe. Parang, ang sakit kasi we build it eh. Alam mo yun, nilagyan namin yung wallpaper. Tapos tinanggal namin yung isa-isa. Tapos hanggang binabalik ulit namin. Grabe, parang oh my God.
Yeah.
So, alam mo yung baby mo, yun, tama yung sabi nila, you're putting yourself there. So, ikaw yun. And then, binuksan mo, and then sinarap. Ang sakit talaga, na-remember ko yun. Parang everyone, siguro 3 months ata ka nag-cry. Yung birthday ko, sabi ko, last birthday ko na to dito. Oh my God, umiyak ako. Sobrang hindi ako happy. Kasi, November 2 yung my birthday, pero we closed November 26. Alam mo yung, you were just counting the days, na isang sarap mo siya. Grabe yun. Parang sobrang sakit. Sabi ko, parang feel mo ni-reject eh. Even though it wasn't rejected, even though it was a lease problem, pero feel mo parang, hindi ako gusto. Yun talaga yung feeling as a cook, diba? Ang sakit.
Yeah.
So, na-realize namin yun. Also kasi, siguro one learning is, yung creativeness mo, there was a question for us. Why do you cook? Is it because of you? Do you want to represent yourself? Siyempre, number one. And also second, hindi ba you wanted to make others happy with your food? But why is it always about your cooking? Yun yung kinwestiyon sa amin. Why is it always about your cooking? Ikaw ba yung kakain? And then sabi, nga no, actually, hindi naman ako yung kakain. So dapat, it's not just for you. Dapat it's for the person who's going to eat it. So you have to remember all the time na parang, it's not always about what's your preference. Dapat it's also what's the preference of the people who's going to eat. I think one learning yun from that. Kasi, di ba, since Hey Handsome is always trying to, educate people, trying to, put bold flavors out there. But what if yung tao na yun, hindi niya comfort yung bold flavors? Do you think he will be happy on that one? I think one learning yun. And then second, now that we're doing Sambar, with no help at all, it's just me and Vico. So, it's just me and Nico, and of course the people here in the house who's helping us clean the dishes and all. Yung 15 pesos na transfer from bank to GCash is so important. Parang dun ko na feel na talaga na parang if you're starting something what's yours really, na parang and you put all your effort in it, Maski isang piso, sobrang importante nga. Like yung 15 pesos na yon, makakabili ka na ng 2 pirasong itlog. I think, di ba, Sam? Parang sobrang learning yun. Every time
Yeah.
nagta-transfer ako from BDO to GCash, sabi ko, shucks, may bayad na 15. Sana nakabili na ako ng red onions na, ng egg. So, yung Grab, every time we would call, syempre, pandemic, kailangan mo i-grab all the time, lalamove, angkas, whatever yung ingredients na kailangan mo. Nasa building kami, So, di ba, precaution safe. So, yung 100 pesos, shucks, sana nakabili na ako ng something. Now natututo na kami na dapat isang Grab lang to pick up all the, mas mura pala.
Yeah.
Like, yung mga small stuff na yun, oh my God, like, I think this pandemic, sobrang natutunan ko. Like yung 1 peso, it's actually so important in saving up money so you can produce something greater. Yun, I think yun yung second learning ko na parang, every penny counts. And then you have to be smarter on things. You not just work hard, you really have to work smarter. Kasi parang mababaliwala yung working hard if you're not thinking of the future na parang, oo nga, with honesty, mas convenient ka na mas maraming drivers, isa-isa, pero mas mahal. Naisip ko yun, kesa me waiting, for another 10 minutes to get, na si kuya, iikutin niya lahat nung and then I would save, $100 out of it. I think yun yung natutunan ko in building Sambar. Na parang, every penny counts, lalo na, kung iniipon mo lahat yung money mo to build something greater. So, ayun.
I was gonna actually ask, how has the pandemic affected professionals?
Oh my God.
But yeah, I kind of got the picture.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean,
how can the public continue supporting your endeavors at a time like this?
I feel like more than the public and our customers have always been supporting us. Like we also support each other. Like I have ordered countless times.
Oh my God, yes, sure, grabe.
Things like that. We also support each other and we talk to each other about things, where to get this, do you have this and all that. Like I feel like right now, the F&B, the community has been so supportive of each other. And because I think we're the only ones who understand how hard it is in the industry. I'm not saying that other industries are not having a hard time, but like within our industry, we understand how hard it is to actually shut down a restaurant with 1 day's notice
from last year's loss.
Yeah, not even that. Not even just shut down a restaurant with 1 day's notice.
Yeah,
like it's like, what am I gonna do with all my stock? Like, what about the vegetables? I can't let them stay rot in my chiller for 2 weeks and serve my guests rotten vegetables, right?
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. But I think me personally and Metronome, the pandemic gave me an opportunity to kind of like create something else outside of Metronome. Like if you look at Lazy F as a brand, it's within my idea of everything is French slanted, but it's completely different from the way Metronome is and how we cook in Metronome and what type of food we serve in Metronome. Lazy Off is like the young cousin who's partying every night. If Metronome is like the old professional, the Lazy Off is probably the young college graduate cousin who's just still partying every night, something like that.
Yeah.
But it gave me a chance also to kind of be creative in a different way,
Right.
in a way where that's a kind of food that I would eat on my days off.
Mm.
You know, it's comforting and but still kind of like um, still making sure that the ingredients are top quality. We still use like the same butter. We make our own bread and all that. Yeah, so that's one. And I was just gonna say like what Queenie was saying a while ago with kind of figuring out logistics and all that. It's a nightmare as well. But
Grabe.
yeah, it's for me. It's also a way of helping other people out by creating opportunities for them to make money,
Mm-mm.
something like that. So it's more of a, we still try to kind of like do something for the community as well. Like
Yeah.
Lazy Off, by the way, uh was put together at first because we wanted to still support our staff. So when we started during the lockdown, Lazy Earth was a way for us to still give allowance to our staff. So the profit was not kept by the company. It was distributed to this to all the staff because like
Oh my
especially
gosh.
service
Nice.
staff, they
Yeah.
didn't have anything. So they still had monthly allowance which was coming from Lazy F. Yeah, which was still trying to do something for the, like, if you can't do grand things, do something for the community that
Yeah.
you're
Right.
in.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Actually, si Chef Nico, yung lagi kong tinatanungan pag may kailangan ako. Oh my God! Like, Chef,
Di naman.
kumuha ko ng ano yun? Duck
Truffle.
breast. Yung walang, yung truffle. Bumili ako sa kanya ng truffle. Sabi, Chef, wala mo yung
Sounds good.
truffle. Tapos yung dish namin, kailangan na bukas. And 2 hours ako bumili sa kanya ng truffle. Grabe nakakahiya. Pero you know what?
Okay lang yun.
Pandemic, maintindihan
Yeah.
naman. At
Yeah.
alam ni Chef yung pinagdadaanan namin.
Yeah.
Yes. So yun.
I remember when you said, Chef, sorry, madidelay yung pagkain mo kasi nag-brown out yung buong building. I'm like,
Oh no.
holy shit.
Hindi siya malaman nangyari. Oo, naalala ko yun.
Yeah.
Kasi, so we're in Nico's condo, right? So, we bought a fryer. Napaka-nice.
Yeah.
I forgot na mataas yung wattage na. Oh my God. So, sinaksak ko yung dalawang fryer. Nasaksak yung rice cooker, nakasaksak yung dress freezer, and namatay yung kuryente ng buong unit. No,
Unit?
Sa buong
Okay.
unit
Yeah.
naman.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Buong
So
building.
parang, ano ba? I think basta nagka-problem, tumawag sila, Robla. So, may mga pumanik pa to fix. So, parang, oh my God, sobrang worst nightmare to. Parang, bakit ko ba naisip isaksak parehas? So, parang, oh my God. Talagang naalala ko yun. Yun, isa yun sa struggle sa pandemic. Like, where are you gonna cope? Pero with all honesty, parang, I know, parang sobrang unfortunate talaga this pandemic. Pero nice na yung sabi ni Chef na yung community, nabuo, and then, helping each other. Of course, everyone is just trying to survive. Diba? Everyone's just trying to survive, do their best. And then, na-feel naman namin everyone's supportive, with all honesty. I think yung pinaka-struggle lang is anong tawag doon? Yung struggle namin is how to give a restaurant feel sa takeout food namin.
Yeah.
Na same way na pag na-deliver sa kanila.
Mm-hmm.
I think yun kasi yung first week namin, grabe, parang naalala ko, the late yung driver, pagdating doon, hindi presentable yung food.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, kaya ka nga nag-order ng food, diba? Kasi you don't wanna cook at home. And then, yung guest mo, ganun yung ma-feel. So I think one struggle yun. Pero, yeah, we learned stuff and we were able to, fix that area naman. I think, hopefully. And then, I think another struggle is, how do you save as much now? Kasi habang tumataas lahat ng prices, unfortunately, sobrang nasasad talaga ako na parang, nafe-feel, parang, tinitingnan mo yung resibo and then naiisip ko all the time, kawawa naman yung mga taong bumibili na in a normal basis sa bahay nila na parang pandemic pa nga, you're trying to save and then nakikita mo sa resibo mo, tumataas pa yung prices. Like, hindi ko alam kung, I mean, yun yung something na parang shocks. I mean, I hope I have a way to help out. Pero, hindi ko alam kung paano ako makaka-help out dun sa world. Pero yun, yung nalulungkutan kami niyo, nakikita namin yun. Parang, grabe, parang pandemic na nga, tapos tumataas pa yung price. Of course, sa Sambar, I mean, very flexible yung menu. Like, pag we know it's not working, we can take it out. We can replace. If we know sobrang mahal na ng ingredients, we can replace. I mean, thank God na ganun yung system namin ngayon. So at least, easier for us to, do it. Pero I think, yeah, yung hirap na yun na-experience ng mga tao, nakakasad. Also, I think yung struggle and learning this pandemic is how do you comfort the guest with your food? Yeah, that is something that we're trying to achieve more. Like, aside from connecting, like how do you really comfort them using your food na one is to, of course, for them to support you more. And second is to inspire others. Kasi kaya din na-build yung TK Chicken Club. Paras nung kay Gaya ni Chef, hindi ko na parang, it's kasi actually for old staff na nawalan ng jobs, yung nag-quit and all. Kaya pinupush namin to build that, na parang yung pinaka-oldest na staff ni Nico, na si Kuya Roy, it was with him na for 15 years. Doon namin siya ilalagay. Alam mo yun, may place, sa Cloud Kitchen na yun, may place yung mga cooks na nawalan ng job. Yeah, I mean, kaya talagang sabi namin, kaya natin to miski pandemic, parang at least, lalo na now, di ba, another lockdown, for sure, mahihirapan yung mga restaurants and all. For sure, nahihirapan sila sa bahay nila. So parang kami, talagang namadali namin na para makapag-work na sila doon. And then, sabi nga namin, parang yung Grab food, walang service charge yun. So nalulungkot tayo, parang, oh my God, walang service charge, kawawa naman, take out. So parang we had this experiment na parang kung sino yung team na mapupunta doon sa TK Chicken Club, parang nag-allot kami na parang percentage for them.
Yeah.
Parang, alam mo yun, nafe-feel nila na may service charge pa rin sila.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, it's because of the sales, diba? So parang, yeah, yun, like, pushing kami, to, para to give more jobs. Totoo talaga yun, Chef. Parang ang hirap.
Yeah, even with us, like even with the Lazy F as a takeaway brand, we also have sales commissions. So the higher the sales, the higher the people get as well as commissions. Yeah, there's a percentage that goes to staff because it's I mean, at this point,
everyone's affected by it.
Yeah, and we're trying to survive. We're trying to survive as a company. But we're also trying to survive for the people who work with us.
Right.
So it's one of those.
Okay. So I guess to cap off our episode, last question is, I mean, despite it all, the culinary industry, a lot of people are interested, as you mentioned, like there's a lot of young chefs coming up nowadays. And for the be still hesitant, especially female chefs who are still hesitant to enter the industry. Do you have any advice or tips for those who aspire to be chefs like you?
Well, don't hesitate.
Warnings.
Don't hesitate. Well, I want to be realistic about it. It's not an easy life. You'll never have an easy life in the kitchen. No. And it's not only physically tiring, it's also mentally and emotionally tiring at the same time. Because being in the kitchen, you're standing, you're cooking, you get burned, it, yes, there's that. It's physically, you're doing something very physical. But at the same time, you're making decisions by the minute.
Right.
Because you're actually looking at the food and thinking, is this cooked? If you're cooking a steak, is this correct? You're touching it, you're all these things. Your decisions are by the minute, and you have to be very observant. And then you have to think about sending the food out. So your deadlines are by minutes or by seconds, because you're not making a report and you're sending it. Your deadline is next week. It's literally, give me 2
Literally
minutes.
now.
It needs to be in the past.
Yeah.
And plus the fact that a lot of chefs are perfectionists. So if one thing goes wrong, that whole plate will be gone. So you have to do, if your pasta from the start, if your pasta is overcooked, you're not gonna continue cooking it. You
Yeah.
have, so these are the things that are very important, that you have to be physically, mentally, and emotionally prepared for the kitchen, for the rigorous and very very demanding. It's a very demanding life.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very demanding job.
But
And
are there
yeah,
good things?
yeah. Well, the good thing is, like, you get to feed people.
Yeah.
Like that, for me, that's what makes me. I'm happy when I see people are enjoying my food. That's going back to what Queenie was saying kanina, where um when they were asked, like, why do you think it's about you? It shouldn't be about you. It should be about the people who are enjoying your food. Yes, I agree with that, but I also agree with the fact that, yes, I'm making food. It's my food, and I want you to enjoy it. So, the way I approach cooking is more of, it has to be a feeling. It has to be a um, nourishment. It's a whole nourishment of not only your physical body, but mentally and emotionally. When you're eating something, you feel happy, or it satisfies you, or so these are the things that it's not only all technical. When you present, when you for me, when I serve my food, it's not all. I'm not wowing you with the technicality of what I do. It could be a very like, I like my food very simple, but done properly and cooked properly, because I want it to be enjoyed in that way. I don't like not much fanfare when it comes to that. Um, so that's one thing that we also have to think about. And for the young cooks who want to um, step into this industry, um, just be ready for all the hardships that you're gonna go through. And I think when you're younger and you try it out, don't be scared to try it out, and don't be scared to say, okay, this is not for me, because you have nothing. You don't have to prove anything to anyone but yourself, and what makes you happy in a way where you can thrive. It's not for everyone. I'll have to say that it's not for everyone. And but there are different kinds of kitchens that run differently, and you might just have to look for a kitchen or an environment that you know you will be happy and you will thrive in. So that's that. And for the women who want to make this their career, just do it, and don't just show up, speak up, and be present. And don't be afraid. Like for me, don't be afraid to offend people. When you know that you're in the right, say, speak up. Claim your space. That's what I always say. Claim your space. Don't, if you know you deserve that promotion, say it. If you know you want that position and you know that it's there's an opportunity there for you, go to your mentor or go to your supervisor and say, I want to be eligible for that position. And don't think it's being mayabang if you think you can do it. Just that, especially for women, because women, especially Filipinas, a lot of us have this kakahiya.
Iyan tayo,
Baka sabihin nila na I'm being mayabang. No, if you think you deserve it, say something.
Right.
And then that's what I always say. Like, that's how you claim your space, the space that you deserve. If you know that you deserve that space, and if you know you can do well and you will be able to perform well, then go for it. Say it, and create opportunities for yourself as well.
Thank you. It's inspiring. Even if I'm not a chef.
Oh my gosh.
I think it goes for
Goes for everything.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I think this job is for women. You know why? Kasi, with all honesty, women magaling mag-multitask.
Yes.
Yes. And I think, lahat ng nangyayari sa kusina, tama si chef, like, anong tawag doon, you're deciding by the minute, parang, like, minutes before ilabas yan, kailangan ilabas mo na yan, and pag nilabas mo yan, dapat perfect, dapat may sense of detail, na, alam mo yun, maganda, maayos, masarap, maraming stuff na nangyayari, and while you're cooking it, kasi, iniisip mo na, anong next step mo? Parang it's always ganun, while you're doing something, you're already thinking, ready na ba yung starch ko? Ready na ba yung vegetable? Alam mo yun, like, ready na ba yung all components in one dish? And maybe that's us. Mahilig kami sa sobrang daming components sa isang dish. Like, oh my God. And in order for the kitchen to survive, kailangan talaga ng multitasker. And I think women are best in multitasking. So I know that this job is actually for the women. Parang, it's not just for the men. Of course, syempre magaling siya magluto din, malakas and all. Pero mentally wise, ang galing natin mag-curate ng step-by-step process. Yun. Also, yes, it's tiring. It's not really glamorous. Yung mga sa chef movies na nagpa-party sila all the time. Ganun. Before ma-achieve mo yun, na-achieve mo mag-party kasi nagawa mo ng maayos or hindi mo nagawa ng maayos yung nangyari. Actually, yun. Ano yun. Pero ang saya, like, for me, yung nafe-feel ko na, I'm so sorry, yung high na nafe-feel ko every time I cook, iba. Like, I wouldn't really, yung pagod na pagod ka na, pero magluluto ka, tapos ang dami mong gagawin. To be honest, nakaka-rattle siya sa mind. Pero ang exciting all the time siya gawin. Ang exciting to create something na alam mong ikaw nakapag-isip. Ang exciting na ma-perfect mo yung dish na alam mo ilang beses mo tinry and nakuha mo na yung lasa niya. And then you've mastered it. Ang sarap ng feeling na gano'n. And then, yung favorite part ko, with the honesty, is yung teamwork sa kusina. Ang galing, like, when everybody is so focused and everything, ano yun, everything will be perfect. Ano, may dish magiging perfect. Kasi alam mong ang daming dumaan na tao, ang daming dumaan na hands to perfect it. Ang sarap ng feeling. And then, ang sarap ng feeling na parang, uy, dati siya, nakikita mo, nagsistart pa lang siya, and now, ang galing niya na magluto. I mean, nakuha niya na yung preference mo dun sa pagluluto mo. Ang sarap ng feeling. Kaya lang, I think, parang the family that you build inside the kitchen, ang ganda kasi 'di ba, puno siya ng pressure. With all honesty, puno siya ng pressure, puno siya ng pagmumultitask. And then pag na-achieve, parang alam mo na kahit anong mangyari, that person, naka-teammate mo, got your back already. Kasi alam mo yung pressure nakuha niya. Alam mo yung parang alam mo na life sa life, mapapag-usapan nyo na. Kasi yung hardship sa kusina pa lang, napag-usapan nyo na. Parang outside the kusina, outside life, yung life mo sa kusina, parang wala na siyang judgment sa'yo. I don't know. But maybe ako lang nakaka-real yun. Wala eh. Yung pagiging team and then creating something is so nice. Na parang I encourage everybody na I hope, alam mo yun, ma-feel. It's, of course, every job is different talaga. Before mo ma-achieve yung gusto mong ma-achieve, magdadaan ka ng sobrang hirap. And I think maybe part of life, diba? Of course yun, before you achieve something. Pero yeah, when you achieve it, parang ang ganda. Parang alam mo sa sarili mo, nagagawa ko yung gusto ko gawin. Parang alam mo yun. Sorry, yung creatives. Chef, if you will agree with me or not, wala masyadong money. In fairness. Pero
wala talaga.
Seryoso talaga. Oh my God, seryoso.
No,
Pero yung fulfillment sa life, yung fulfillment sa sarili mo, parang nasusurpass yung money na involved.
Yeah, that's true. If you aim to have like life savings by the time you're 30, nope. This is not the no.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, but it's I mean, it has its for me there's more pros than cons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what matters.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for the insights, discussion, and for sharing your journey with all of us here at Rappler. And thank you again, Chef Nico of Metronome and Chef Queenie of Sambo.
Oh my God, Queenie lang. Yung level ni Chef Nico iba.
I've been telling her to stop calling me Chef because we're not in the same. And she refuses.
Oh. Okay.
Oh my God, pag may tumatawag sa akin, oh my God, please do not. I cannot hear that word. Hindi ko kaya. Oh my God.
Okay, Queenie.
Yes. Yes, thank you.
Chef, now I'm gonna call you Chef na. Chef Queenie.
No, my God, Chef!
Regardless, thank you for sharing your food and your time with us today.
Thank you.
Once again, I'm Steph Arnaldo, lifestyle and entertainment and food reporter for Rappler, and this was episode 3 of Let's Talk Food. Thank you everyone for watching, and till next time, thank you.